Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. And when you out there without care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul. You really think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me.
Hey, Namwinga. I see you. I see you, Bo. Isaac, thank you.
I want to be like them. Oh, yeah. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun. And it's not coincidence I've come. And I could die when I'm done. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Probably. Whoa. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy.
Hey, everybody. It's a beautiful, what is today? Tuesday? Does that say Tuesday? Tuesday, the 27th of August. Now, as is my custom, many of you know, usually when I have something to say, I always feel that this is the right time to say it in the evening. And of course, 20 hours does not belong to anybody. It belongs to anyone that has something to say. And I choose to say what I have to say tonight, this evening, at this particular time. Also, let me very quickly, a few shout outs to you guys, because I love that you take time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. And John Liamba says, are you from Europe? Incidentally, I must bring you up to speed with that story. As many of you know, I was in Lufanyama not too long ago, and I met this brilliant mind. He's a teacher, and he, as a side hustle, he rides a motorcycle. So I rode him, and we had a very interesting conversation. But what's funny about that is that he seems to think that because he's on social media, he's embarrassed, or he somehow thinks that I posted this video to embarrass him. So lately, he's been sending me these messages. He's called me a couple of times saying, Mr. Mwewa, my life here in Lufanyama, I'm embarrassed. I don't even know how to go outside. I said to him, look, Savy, you haven't insulted anyone. You haven't raped anyone. You haven't walked around naked anywhere. You haven't said anything abrasive. If anything, that conversation was playful banter. It was just, in fact, if anything, you are liked on social media, at least on my page. My audience, they found you funny. They found you engaging. They found you a very interesting character. There was nothing in there. And I said to him, I said, if you read most of the comments, they like you. Oh, no. Savy was just not having it. He says, no, Mr. Mwewa, those videos you're posting, I've failed to leave my house because here in Nufanyama, I've become somewhat of a celebrity. I said, Savy, is that a bad thing? No, Mr. Mwewa, I don't want that. So I said, well, it is what it is. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you're concerned, but I would be concerned if you had done something illegal. If you had robbed someone or raped someone or insulted someone, then it would have been a problem. But you were just funny and people loved you. Brother wasn't having it. He just wasn't seeing it. So, Savy, if you're watching this broadcast, relax. It's going to be fine. The audience love you. In fact, if anything, you're now a celebrity in some form or fashion. All right. Tell Savy we loved his videos. Even if I tell him, he is just locked in this idea. Kuti no na munse banya ichalo chonse cha Lufanyama. I've failed to walk outside the door from my house. I said, welcome to social media. Watching from Namibia. Mulishani, thank you, Namibia. Appreciate you guys so much. Great. Guys, let's get into it. I just wanted to mention something to you that it's been on my heart, and I've been talking to my family about this, and I think it's right to bring it to the fore and bring it on center stage and talk about it and have a real conversation about it because, as you know, our hearts are here at Simoson Bilding. So anyone that says anything about this commercial property, which truly speaking is a privately owned property, it touches us and we have to deal with it as best as we can. And I want to first of all start by saying this, and I think this statement is very important. Simoson Building has been standing firmly, not just standing, but standing firmly without incident for 37 years. Since the time of Bakaunda in 1987, let me tell you the story, because one day I'll be dead and gone, and some of you are going to wonder, how did Simoson come to being? Well, this is the story. I'm telling you the story. 50, 100 years from now, when I'm not here long gone, maybe our kids will tell the story, because we try to pass on to our kids what was passed on to us. It's called legacy in whatever form that may be. It doesn't have to be a commercial building. It could be anything. It could be a set of values. It could be anything. So let me tell you the story for those of you that do not know. Back in the 80s, when Dr. Kaunda was the president of this country, there was something that was known as the leadership code. Some of you don't even know what that is. Muriba Kaunda, it was not kosher, it was not right to work in government and have a private business. That was frowned upon. It was discouraged. During Makaunda's era, Makaunda's time, era spelled E-R-A. Some people say era, I say era. During Makaunda's era, his time, it was not acceptable for a person who worked in government or a person that had a government position to be an entrepreneur. That was discouraged. When you worked, when you served, in the party and its government, meaning UNIP, you were expected to focus and to be laser focused on performing your duties in whatever capacity that you were asked to serve. And I'll never forget one day we used to live many years ago. We used to live in Kabalonga, along Kabalonga Road. Is that the road? The road that has that new mall. You know, the mall in Kabalonga. On one side, there's the new mall, and then on the other side, there's that old where Steers is. Isn't that Kabalonga Road? Tell me in the comments if that's what that is. I need to be correct about that. Just network is not good. Watching from Qatar. Please tell me if the network is okay. Is it not okay? Tell me. It's good. It's all right. You're loud and clear. Thank you, Bo Allen. Network is good. It's just that we get thrown off when someone says network or freezing. It throws us off completely. And you need to refer to the comments so that you know where you are. So what I was saying was that was that Kabalonga Road. Anyway, whichever road that is, we used to live in a government house. Now remember, this was 1979, 1980, 81, 82, somewhere there. And I'll never forget having a conversation with my father. And I don't know why he brought it up, but for some reason, I had many conversations with my late father. I found my father to be one of the most intelligent, one of the most gentle-hearted men I've ever met in my whole life. He was my father, but he was kind, he was gentle, he was soft-spoken. My father never screamed, which is strange because I scream. And the reason I yell is because, I got that from my mother. My mother's like that. My mother's very vociferous. My mother's very boisterous, she's very opinionated. I get that from my mother. But my father was just a very kind, soft-spoken man. And he never raised his voice at us. I can never remember a time my father yelled at us. And even when he did scold us, he did it with a firm tone. It wasn't yelling and screaming and whooping and hollering. It wasn't any of that. It was a very strong, firm sort of chastisement. And I remember one conversation we had, and he said to me, he said, "Son, you see this house we live in?" He said that, "Do you know that everything in this house belongs to the government, including that spoon?" And he pointed to a spoon on the table. He said that, "Do you know that if Dr. Kaunda, for one reason or another," are we good? I don't like stopping. It's just that I thought I saw it. It's lagging. Is it really? Oh dear. I may have to switch, because if it's lagging, that's no good. If it's lagging, that's no good because I need this message to be clear. My Airtel connect. Loud and clear. We're good now. Okay. All right. Let's proceed. Let's hope it sort of does its thing. So basically, what I was saying was that my dad and I were having a conversation, and he said to me, while living in this big government house, he said to me, he says, for some reason, if Dr. Kaunda asked me to leave, we would not be able to continue to live in this house because everything in this house belongs to the government, including that spoon. And I remember he He pointed, there was a spoon on the table. And he says, including that spoon over there. And so it's important, he said to me. He said, it's important that we live in our own house. It may be a small house, but it's our house. And no one can take it away from us, he said. And of course, years later, my dad started telling me about, and us started telling us about this project that he was going to work on and that he wanted to build a shopping center. And I remember him saying that and thinking, well, why would you do that? You know, I mean, it sounds like such a huge mammoth task. And one of the reasons he decided to go into private business was because of the leadership code. The leadership code for it stopped, it prohibited members of the party and its government to own private businesses. So he was moved out of government, and then he decided to branch out on his own. And I will never forget telling us the story. He said, I was driving down Lumumba Road. And in those days, Lumumba Road was in the 80s. Some of you weren't even alive in the 80s. Lumumba Road was just a little tiny road. It didn't even have much. There was nothing happening on this side of town. Lumumba Road going this side of Simoson City Market, there was nothing here. It was just all shacks and, rocks. And he was driving down looking for property to purchase. Initially, he wanted to purchase something in the industrial area, but he didn't see anything there that he liked. So he was driving down Lumumba Road and he saw Mr. Issa. He's an Indian gentleman. The Issas, as you know, are a very prominent Indian family in Zambia. They own lots of property here in Zambia. And Mr. Issa, again, oh boy. No, I need to stop this. Sorry, guys. I need to switch cameras.